I'd love to see CMND get a pop and reclaim.
Yeah, I was waiting for that the whole time. That was I thought we were gonna get that around like 10. Then I thought maybe 10:30, and then it just never happened.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to see CMND get a
Oh,
pop and
okay, so
reclaim.
we're live. I just clicked it. Yeah, I was waiting for that the whole and time. Now I gotta make sure I have it muted on my other screens. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out the new format here, which is basically OBS recording myself or recording my screen. So if anyone has any better tips, because it seems like this might not be the best setup. I would have to like click on who's talking here. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. Just gotta play around with these things.
Trial and error.
I think that's how I would do it.
Yeah, seems to make the most sense for now. And then I don't know. We could I'll just have to figure out if I want to share my screen. I'm not even entirely sure the best way to do that. I guess I'll just like move my trade journal, or not trade journal, Thinkorswim over the Zoom meeting, but we'll see. Yeah, so I guess we could talk about CMND. It's already on the forefront of all of our minds for sure, except maybe Colby.
I'm actually watching it for a trade here. If it breaks down under 60 and gets back over quickly.
Yeah, kind of eager beaver about it too. Colby, did you do some research on the gappers? What were
No,
your?
I didn't.
Yeah, so
I was just talking about VVOS because Lance Brightstein had a tweet about it, and everybody was really mad because they were saying that VVOS was like untradeable, and he was saying that it's a shame if you aren't like studying this ticker, and it made a bunch of people like angry, I guess.
What do you mean
So
wasn't tradable? That thing was tradable all day. The volume on that and the liquidity on that day was so high. You could trade it all day long.
Yeah, he was saying the break of 20 was the easiest entry, which was just straight up like a breakout trade, which is probably why it got flack because why are people buying breakouts in 2023? I don't know.
Yeah, it was an extended move coming into power hour. Yeah, usually something like this you'd see in 2021. Yeah, we haven't seen something like this since 2021. Yeah, I could see how a lot of people were oversized to the short side. I also saw one of the guys from Investors Underground was saying that the shares to go short were the cost to borrow were so cheap that it could have also caused people to oversize to the short side, especially after its big move from 4 to 20 or 4 to 18. You know, how much higher is that going to go? If you look at
And then they get blown out.
Yeah.
how are your guys' trading on VVOS?
I'm trying to pull that up now. Unfortunately, TraderView
yes.
isn't really doing a good job showing my trades on it. I traded it well. I locked up just over 3,000 on it last week.
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
that's
can't
really
see
good.
where I traded it. But yeah, I mean, it had decent action and decent volume on it all day. And it was
Yeah.
the first thing that actually moved strong. It was the first real momentum stock we had in probably months, right?
Yeah, when I saw that, I was pretty stoked. I was a little bit butthurt because I saw it late, and it was the one of the few times I wasn't looking at the pre-market, and I was like, no, this would have been perfect. So I started basically when it did that really long consolidation. So from basically 8:30 until like 9:45, and then I actually ended up wrapping it up, and I missed the second leg. So I missed both the beautiful legs on it. Actually, all three technically, because I had that last power hour move as well.
Those first day big movers are really hard to trade well
Yeah, you're
because
super.
you're always expecting,
Um,
or you're never expecting a move like that when it's been dry for 2 straight months.
Yeah, every pop you're just like, no, I don't trust that it keeps running for 30 minutes, and you're like, wait a second, should I trade this?
Yeah, it was nice that we got that momentum though last week. That was probably the hottest week of the year actually, as far as amount of gappers and tradability of these gappers and volume profile. I think with best week of the year as far as you measure it that way.
It was definitely the hottest week in the last like 2.5 months.
For sure, yeah. Then we got that one stock, NEXI. And I knew, I was even warning people, like, once you see something like this, what was that stock that you got caught in, Alex? That you got caught in a T12?
What was it?
ENTX?
Yeah, ENTX or something like that.
That was like a similar situation. One of the leading gappers kind of carrying the momentum forward, and then you get caught it gets into a T12 halt and opens up 50%, or in your case, 80% lower.
Yeah.
That's going to completely destroy any momentum that we were having. And that's exactly what happened. After this opened up 50% lower, we didn't get anything else on Friday afternoon. Monday was kind of like hit or miss, kind of like so-so. And then today is like also very, very choppy as well, and not good for momentum.
Yeah, people get nervous when they see that. I mean, I'm still in a hole from EDTX. I haven't been able to get out of it. Just because my trading hasn't really been that great yet. EDTX doesn't even load on the charts, but yeah, it's been a bit of a grind for me, unfortunately.
Doesn't even show up anymore.
If I load it on Thinkorswim, it often doesn't pull up. But if I move it to a smaller time frame, sometimes it does.
That's funny. Mine works on a large time frame.
Or maybe it was that way around. Yeah.
Yeah. It says it's at 63.
Yeah, it's totally messed up. I think it was. Oh yeah,
That's
if you're on the
not
daily, it works.
Yeah. Something right about that.
It basically closed. This ticker's not listed anymore, and it was basically taken private. And then Thinkorswim or TD Ameritrade told me like I got, I don't know, like $10 a share or whatever it was, and then my shares were gone. So yeah, that's basically how it ended.
That's so funny that the market works like that.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying, huh? Yeah, that was a big loss.
The fact that you can buy something at $60 a share, and then the market's just like, I'm taking your money. Sorry.
Yeah.
And you just got to be like, well, okay.
It's like you're in an
There's
arcade.
nothing you can do about it.
You just put in your quarter.
Risk of doing business, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Game over.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
That's a risk we
I'm
take.
sure there
That's
are
really
people.
tough.
There's probably people who like can make some argument that like their size on EDTX would have made them like an investor in the company that's large enough where they're like, whenever a company goes bankrupt, they give the Class A shares to the people who invested first, and they pay out the first investors. Like, that'd be interesting if they did that for something like this too. I'm sure someone that bought that stock got some money back. I don't know.
Somebody made money. I mean, that money doesn't disappear, right? It's a zero-sum game, so it had to end up somewhere.
True.
But I couldn't answer that. It was a little confusing. I always kept trying to research more about it, but it was basically just taken private. And I guess if you were short, you would have been doing pretty well. But, I mean, it also, what was it? It was like a 1520X. So I don't know how you would have shorted that one either.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah, it went from 15 to 80 in one day.
Yeah, that's absurd. Okay. Yeah, more like an 8x, but yeah, that I think that was ridiculous. So I'm a little bit cautious. I've been actually spending most of my time trading pre-market, and it's been actually going a little bit better. I'm not great around trading halts, and I think that's a big reason why. So just kind of distancing myself from a little bit of the chaos of the opens lately has been a little bit good for me. Or what somebody said, I think Jim Bean in our Discord said he was just waiting till 10 o'clock. So that's like another way to approach it, and just kind of trading a little bit later in the morning. And Yeah, I totally agree. I think if I was in West Coast, I'd probably do that. But since I'm in Europe right now, I'm doing the pre-market version of that, and it's much
The
nicer.
open has definitely been choppy and difficult
Yeah,
recently.
pure chaos.
Yeah, pretty much. But I kind of expect it at this point.
Yeah,
And I see people making good money. I know you can make money at the open. Just have to be careful and adapt to how stocks are moving.
yeah.
I'm still interested in CMND here.
Are you going for it?
One last week was MINM. This one went from $1 to $10. That was another really good one. I did okay on that one.
Yeah, IMNM was another good one for me last week. We had
Oh,
VVOS, IMNM, we had View, CAPT.
yeah. This was a great ticker. I made a quick 1K on MINM right in the beginning, but I thought it was done, and then I locked it in, and it kept on rallying. What are the chances? What a crazy. That was a beautiful pre-market session. That was like a classic, nice. Oh, the pre-market wasn't super clean, but I mean, compared to like most action, it was pretty nice. But then, the open again on that one was super hectic. It was just, I don't know. It would have been tough to trade. You basically, it feels a bit like rolling the dice. Is it going to flush down? Is it going to flush up? And then in 2 minutes, it does the whole move. And after that, it was kind of over.
Yeah, I think the best trade after the open was probably. I can share my screen here to show. I should probably take off Dash because I don't think I'm allowed to stream that. Yeah, I think you can get in trouble for streaming Dash Trader, right? Live streaming it.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I don't like you to do that.
That's
The
interesting.
level 2.
Yeah. But I guess like a quick demo or just to share.
Yeah, so here's the MINM. So I think the best trade after the open was definitely here, because you have the shakeout, and then the reclaim. I'm not sure if it was a shakeout or if we stopped out shorts first. I'm not sure which came first, but you got sort of that fan candle. That's usually a sign that little bit of shakeout either from the shorts or for the longs, and then as we're kind of creeping back up to reclaim that, it's definitely more of a higher win rate setup, actually, especially in this hotter market environment. And then just pretty much just catching the break of this 1 minute high, and I think it like immediately went up to like $9. So that was probably the best trade. Even if you can kind of take a starter down here as it's creeping up and then just adding into it, probably would have done well. But I didn't trade that one. I didn't trade that setup. And then again, like after pre-market, you see a move. What is this, like 700%?
Yeah, it was
How
absurd.
much higher is that going to go after the open?
Right.
So, but very, very good setup there. And I like how this market, like, is still kind of, when the market's hot, it's still producing those moves that we were getting previous years. Like 1,000% moves are now normal for a hot market, which is great. I love that.
Yeah, that's true. Once they squeeze hard. It's nice.
Yeah.
Especially right now when things have just not been moving, and then shorts get caught underwater and have no idea what to do at that point.
Yeah. Is anyone holding these moves longer? Is that anyone's trying to do that at all or no?
I do try to. I haven't really had the chance very much lately. Last week was the first week of like hot momentum, so I wasn't really holding stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was holding intra moves for like a couple minutes at a time at least, but nothing's really holding longer than that still.
Yeah. Yeah, I also don't have a lot of faith in holding. It kind of feels like there's a big green candle, you want to jump in on it. You definitely don't want to wait for a red candle. So I'd rather buy high on a green candle than wait for the red pullback. And then you might get 20% randomly. But after that, everything is just a coin toss. That actually, it's not a coin toss. It's like 95% of the time, it's going far lower than where it started, really quickly. So within the next 2 minutes. So yeah, it's tough. I mean, MINM, that would have been, obviously, in hindsight, great to hold, but no way. I don't think I would have been able to do that. But yeah, we did have so many multi-day gappers and just 100, multiple 100% winners that it is pretty tempting to want to start doing that when you see that back to back. But I don't think I can commit to that yet.
I was hoping we'd see some more continuation this week. SSNT was really terrible for me yesterday, and I probably just need to have like a max loss per ticker, like $500 per ticker, because I was down 4,000 on SSNT, but I still was, if I hadn't traded it, I would have had a solid green deck.
Yeah, I saw your Instagram story. I was like, oh.
Yeah. There's no reason for me to keep trading something that is clearly showing me that much that I'm wrong.
I feel the same. There's always those tickers where I'm only trending down on.
Yeah. That was SSNT for me all day yesterday.
Yeah, it's stressful.
What was your setups, like breakout trading, or was it like panic dip buys?
I was doing dip buys. I was trying everything. I had stopped doing breakouts on it, and then even when I was trying to buy dips on it, it would fill me on the ask, and then it would get me out on the bid every single time. So even with the like 10-cent spread or so, trying to nail those dip entries, I get filled on the ask, and then if it doesn't pop right away, you kind of have to bail. So I was just locking in paper cuts constantly.
Yeah, that's been my experience past two days too. But
last week I had my first green week since late October, at least, though.
Well, that's
it was a decently solid week.
The green weeks are nice. Yeah, I feel the same. Last week was also my first green week in a while. It wasn't that big, but it was just like, oh, thank God.
Bro, I feel like I haven't even looked at my P&L in months.
Yeah.
Just don't even want to see it.
Those are sometimes the best streaks when you forget about the P&L altogether.
Not for me.
What's up with all that Christmas stuff in the background?
My sister has a work party. My girlfriend. Yeah, let's confuse those two things.
Living in the country.
My girlfriend has a work party. Yeah, for real. She has a work party, and she has to like, there are all these fucking, I don't know, table settings.
Gotcha.
Dude,
I saw yesterday on your calendar. I saw $950 green day.
yeah, I mean, it's not real money, so who cares? It's an evaluation account.
But it's good though, because that'll get you on the right track to start trading
You're
real
doing
money.
something right.
Are you sizing
Not
more
really.
on that account? Or?
Yeah, that was a trade that I don't even want to talk about because it was still just me being pissed and making money that I shouldn't have made, and I got lucky. So I just did it, and I was like, I felt worse after. I was like, cool. You went you sized up 4x your size. You held it for fucking 2 hours because your stop was either blow the account or make money. And then I made money, and I was like, "Oh, great! Wow, it feels so good." It was a $2,000 trade. I was down 1,000 already. So,
Yeah. Okay. I feel your.
yeah, I closed it out, and I was like, "Oh, that's great. I don't feel anything."
I don't feel anything.
Dead inside.
Talking about
Seriously.
luck, is anyone? Here's a pretty big topic. You guys can't go on YouTube without seeing it right now. Bitcoin over 40,000. I know Coinbase is up like 300, almost 400% since its lows. Are any of you guys on the crypto trend right now?
I'm not. I actually was blissfully unaware. Now I have $300 in Bitcoin. I just checked. Up from like, I don't know. When was
I think the word blissfully unaware is the perfect way to describe it. I'm sorry for bringing it up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up at $307 in Bitcoin now, up from like 260 a month ago. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't pay attention to crypto pretty much at all. Why is it up?
I think it was just, I had a really big sell off and it kind of found its bottom. And like there's some ETF news and I was checking it out. I mean, there's nothing really major new, I would say. I think it just found a bit of a bottom and bounced up. I mean, I actually would have liked to accumulate the last few months, but
Yeah.
I just, man, most of my, I don't know, I have a lot of funds in my IRA. I don't want to take it out of my IRA. I have funds allocated in other projects. And I've gotten really wrecked 3 times from crypto. And I'm just a little bit, like, it's a little bit sad watching this rally because I had like 50K in BlockFi and they disappeared. So I was just like, this would have been a nice rally. But it is what it is.
Seems like a good time for me to maybe sell.
Yeah, right? I mean, when everyone's talking about crypto, it's usually a good time to sell. And then when no one's talking about it, it's a good time to buy. But it might still be early in the rally. I wouldn't be surprised, even though it basically already 5x'd, if, over the next year, it was basically just a big bull trend. And then, it's going to get really talked about again. And then it's probably going to have its next dump. But it's consolidated at a higher level would be my guess. But I'm not really holding much Bitcoin. I have a few $1,000s left because I had it on wallets in different places, and that's basically what was left after the BlockFi incident and my hack incident. And what was the other incident? I don't even remember right now. But so I'm just like, screw it. I don't know. Don't have
what happened with Binance?
Binance? Oh yeah, so Binance had CZ just got caught with money laundering and a whole bunch of other issues, but he's where is he, in like UAE or something, so they don't have extradition orders with US, so I think he's safe. But yeah, he's been caught,
pay like $1 billion or something
retarded, but he's caught
like $4 billion
doing a lot of shady shit. So
yeah, when I heard that, I was like, crypto, have a fun life. I'm never fucking touching it. if FTX and Binance are fucked, okay, then what the fuck do you buy it on? Like, what do you even buy it?
Yeah, Coinbase probably seems one of the better platforms. They are pretty transparent. They're public, right? So all the other exchanges aren't. So I think that helps a little bit with transparency. I mean, technically Robinhood is public, but you can't withdraw the currency, the crypto, from your Robinhood account. So it's a little bit different. Coinbase is actual. You can buy the crypto itself, but
yeah, there's probably a good argument that it is a good time to buy because of Binance and FTX and all this bullshit.
Yeah, I agree.
No one's gonna like it.
I don't think it's the worst time to buy. I would like for there to be a bigger sell-off because it just had a really strong rally, and now it's like you can't open YouTube without seeing a bunch of crypto videos. I wouldn't be surprised if there was like a 20 to 30% random big dip. I would probably wait for that, but DCA is typically your best bet with these long-term plays because you'll never really time it perfectly.
Yeah, it's tough too because it's like go for a couple 100% in Bitcoin or just buy the NASDAQ and make 50%.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the NASDAQ is up, what, 35% this year?
Yeah, the NASDAQ's on fire, huh?
Market's up quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So here's January 1st, and we are up 47%.
Since January 1st, or?
Since January 1st of 2023.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is
47%, yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a large cap environment, without a question.
It was also the very bottom low, which was January, but still. That's insane. I bet the market makes a new all-time high before, like, March of next year.
I don't know.
bet-
I would kind of like to see it consolidate just under highs for a little bit so that it actually sets up for a stronger break. Because if it just breaks through the previous top, I think there's just
Yeah.
going to be a lot more profit taking rather than holding.
Yeah, I bet it holds here for a while. Maybe it dips like 5% and holds this spot. But this is pretty close to all-time highs. We're only 6% away on the NASDAQ at least. So if it does consolidate here for a couple months, and I bet it goes 5 to 10%. Yeah, I bet it goes like 5 to 10% above the all-time high, and then we see like another decent, maybe 20% pullback, something like that.
SPY is like 3 or 4% away.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Are you
Do
guys?
you guys really think that there's going to be like another bull market, another 5-10 year bull market?
That's a good question.
That's what we're in, honestly, at least from what I think.
I don't think.
I mean,
we've
if you
seen a
look at-
recession yet, but some people said we did.
Yeah, when the recession's here, it's way too late to be making stock market predictions anymore. So the predictions were gone 6 months ago. If you're making predictions now, I feel like it's just so late to the game. Once the recession actually starts, that's probably when the bull market's going to get even stronger. Because everyone's going to be pissed about something and trying to sell the market, and that's whenever all the hedges are going to buy it.
Yeah, the interest rates might get lower.
If you add up the tickers, like the FANG tickers with NVIDIA and Tesla and Meta, well, Apple, Amazon, Google, NVIDIA, Tesla, Microsoft, Meta, if you add them up, they did make an all-time high 2 weeks ago. So,
Wow.
yeah. And
But
those
you
are
would think that-
basically 80% of the entire stock market in terms
Yeah.
of weight. So,
You know,
probably more. I mean, it's probably 95%.
It's not surprising.
Yeah.
What are your guys' vibes on the ground? Like, how does it feel in your communities in terms of the economics? Do people feel like they're in any sort of recession? Is it people are spending money like crazy, or like?
It seems like a pretty tough environment still. People having a lot of trouble just with like normal everyday expenses and stuff like that. At least from my perspective, what I'm seeing across social media and like just talking with people.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, same here. For my previous job, and then also with just like talking to people in public. Definitely, people are feeling the cost of living increase. You know, rents are just absolutely through the roof. So just like general, I think most people are just trying to get by, and most people are just paycheck to paycheck, and you know the income increasing as an employee does not match the increase in lifestyle and living costs. So
Yeah.
we're definitely feeling it. I mean, I felt it for sure. And it kind of puts you in a different headspace to where, like, you know, I only want to be spending on my necessities. I don't want to be going out on extravagant things, you know, going out for dinner every weekend, or going out to the club, or, you know, doing all these things, or going on vacation, just to save that money, because you know, you don't know, you can always lose your job, you know, like things can take a turn for the worst, and you got to be prepared.
Yeah.
I've lived in a poor town my whole life, so nothing's changed here. Everyone's been
Well,
poor when we were in a
and
bull
even-
market, and they're still poor.
So bad.
Yeah. Even with inflation slowing, it's still positive inflation, so things are still increasing in cost.
Right. Yeah.
Not the Joe Biden, though. Joe Biden, he says inflation's 0% month over month.
Is that what he recently said? I didn't see that one.
He tweets that basically every month when the CPI number comes out. Inflation is
Oh, yeah.
0%.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
like, what the fuck are
Really
you
have to
doing?
do that.
Yeah, he literally tweets that.
He probably means growth, inflation growth.
Well, that is
be.
what he means, but you can't say inflation is 0%. You gotta say the change month over month is 0%.
Yeah.
It's still 7% though, and that's the fake Fed number. Basically double that, and that's the real inflation.
You mean in terms of like what businesses,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff have started charging?
Just everything. I mean, the Fed they omit the top and bottom 10% of all inflation data, so it just skews the true number to adhere to their little 2% goal, which is ridiculous. But I don't know. Basically, shut the fuck up, buy the SPY. That's the answer, always. Just never ending.
Colby, were you focused on the Jolts job openings report today at all?
I watched it obviously, but I don't try to make an analysis of it, because anytime I ask why, I'm usually just gonna spend a lot of time figuring out a reason to take a trade, and then I'm wrong anyway. So it's better to just see the data, see how the market reacts, and then just trade it.
Yeah, I think that is by far the best
I
trading
had a
style.
really nice position on TQQQ a couple of weeks ago that I sold the day before CPI because I wasn't sure which way it was going to go, and we were already sort of in a bull run. And TQ's is up $3 a share since I had that position, unfortunately.
Yeah, I did something similar on Snow. I owned Snow, and I had a really nice chunk of that move it had, and it was like before earnings, the day before earnings, and I'm like, I'm not holding into earnings, screw that. And it did have like another 10% pop, but I already had a nice chunk of that move. I don't regret it. I don't really like holding into the earnings. I feel like it's a little bit of a coin toss. But yeah, a little bit of similar scenario.
I've actually been accumulating PayPal.
That's an
That's
interesting
one
one
thing,
too, huh? It's so low, and it's actually finding a bottom. What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, to be fair, the only reason I bought it is because I saw way smarter people than me give like really good analysis on Twitter. Like the Short Bear was talking about how fintech is kind of the only thing left in terms of market correction. Like it has not moved at all. It's completely sitting at the lows. Every other sector in the entire market has ripped hundreds of percent. And PayPal, their order flow hasn't changed much, really. It's not like they're down 70% from their revenue, at least. So I don't know. Just saw someone smart talking about it, and I was like, well, if I have some money in my IRA, might as well just start buying something.
Yeah,
Because
and
I've been sitting on the sidelines for the whole year while the market just rips.
that's true. And it seems really consistent as well. Like, there's so many apps like Venmo or the new thing with the banks in the U.S. What's it called? I can't.
Zelle.
What was it?
Is it Zelle?
Yeah, Zelle. But it seems like at the end of the day, people still use PayPal like crazy, even in Europe, which really blows my mind, because in Europe you could always transfer with banks directly, almost instantly. I never understood why people even use PayPal here, but it still seems, it has its user base. It's a bit like Facebook, where it's like everyone has a Facebook account, so it's like reliable source of communication.
They own Venmo as well, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think they own Venmo. But people were selling it because they were saying that the government's payment system is going to take over.
Yeah.
What was that? I don't really know exactly what that meant, but it was like business to business transactions. It wasn't like normal consumer transactions. So people were selling it off for a while now because the government came out with like their own payment processing system. But it's been out for months now, the government one, and nothing's changed with PayPal, so I don't know.
Yeah, I actually haven't heard much more about that program. I actually forgot right now what it's called. It was like U.S. Transfer, some like really generic name. I'll have to look it up, but that's actually an important thing to look up. And I was thinking as well, I was like, ooh, this is like a PayPal killer. But, well, I mean, if you look at the stock price, it looks like it's, been killed. Yeah, been killed pretty good. But I don't know if it's the worst buy either at this point. I mean,
The Short Bear dude was saying that he probably sees it ending up like somewhere in the middle of where the sell-off was. So if it ended up at even whatever 150, which would be way below the middle. Actually, not really.
Yeah, 150 would be basically a 3x move back.
Yeah.
So right now it's a descending wedge. Those typically break to the upside. Who knows? We could see it. It's
yeah, I'm just looking for flushes. Sorry.
What are you guys thinking about state of the market, current moves, trends, next 2 weeks or so?
That's a good
Um,
question.
For me, I've noticed that. So my strategy is not working well for the last month, and well, not the last month, the last like 2 weeks, and I've been noticing that pretty much every day that the Nasdaq is up, the Dow and the Russell are down, and then the ES just kind of is just pissing around, just chopping everywhere, and the way that means that it's a rotational market, and a rotational market is very hard to trade because first of all, I'm using like volume, weights, the advanced decline line tick, and all this data to try to see what's going on inside of the market. And it's basically faking me out every single day because the market is just rotating. They're just selling NVIDIA, buying Russell. Next day, they're selling Russell, buying NVIDIA. And it's just like the market is going absolutely fucking nowhere except for straight to the right. It's just going up, breaking out of previous day high, massive flush. Break previous day low, massive rip. And it's just every day, fake out longs, fake out shorts, fake out longs. So I'm trying to like stay hands off as much as possible. If my system is not saying to trade, I'm just trying to just not even look at the market because it's so tempting to just try to short every single rip. Because even the SPY today, if you look at it, the JOLTS number came out, ripped like 20 points, fucked around for an hour, broke out again, and it just dropped like 25 points out of nowhere. Like no, there's no reason for that to drop. It's just random. So don't trade it. And it's like I think that's kind of common in an extended bull run where shorts are still trying to short. They think we're still gonna have the fucking Great Depression or some bullshit.
Yeah.
So they short everything, and then the second it breaks previous day low, they'll buy the dip dudes who are sad that they weren't in here for the last 10% move in the SPY. They're buying the shit out of it, rip the shorts out, shorts stop out at high of day, longs don't want to buy at high of day because it's an extended bull run, so the shorts pile back in, and it's just this rotational movement every single day forever. So I can't wait for that shit to end.
It does seem like there's a lot of doomsaying, and I'm looking forward to the market kind of just picking which way it wants to go solidly, because yeah, it's grinding higher, but hasn't really made a convincing move yet.
Yeah. Yeah, even in like 08 and 09, the market looked like this is just as much, and these big rallies, they can get easily flushed right back down. It doesn't matter at all. I don't know. I think if you're even looking out more than like 30 minutes, just stop. Don't try to predict more than 30 minutes out because you're going to be wrong.
Yeah.
And the default should forever always be 70%. This is the fact of reality. This is tested data. 70% of every day in the history of the fucking stock market is a green day. So if you want to have a bias, better not be short because you're already fucking yourself doing that. So
I think that selective bias on shorts that have run like VVOS last week after day one would have been a good short. Stuff like that that's really specific, but in general, the market is designed to go up.
Yeah, it grinds up and has that quick elevator down, right? Stairs up, elevator down.
Yeah. But I've been watching some Steven Ducks lately, and him and other smart shorts, they never short something going parabolic on day one. They'll wait for day two, day three to see a sell-off or a long period of consolidation into the first red move, and then they can go big with a solid risk level.
did you watch his Humble Trader interview?
Yeah, I've watched about half of it. I have him and Lance Brightstein, both of those interviews. I have them loaded up in tabs on YouTube that I've been getting through for like the last week and a half.
Yeah.
It's just they're just long interviews.
Dude, Dux's process is so cool.
It's wild, but like it's smart and informative. And I think as a long bias trader personally, it's really important to know where those types of people are going to be taking their positions.
Yep.
What was the one thing he was saying? It was something like the average, any ticker, so it has to be below 300 million market cap ticker, or he's completely not even looking at it. And then it has to hit a certain amount of dollar volume. I forget what his number was, but once it hits a certain amount.
I think that he's looking for it to rotate its market cap.
Yes.
No.
And it can do that like he has a number calculated for how often that can occur. And then he bases everything off of statistics. And the thing that I thought was super cool is how he was like, if I ever get within 80% accuracy of my strategy, I'm quitting trading. And I was like, what? Because he's like, well, I made like 16 million or whatever he made, 12 or 16 million last year. And that was only 20% of his strategy. If he actually traded every single waking second of his strategy, he would have made 100 million that year. It's fucking insane.
It is really insane. That's nice. I'd love to get that calculation.
Even though he's short biased, though, it's good to see somebody with a real system and making a lot of money as a retail trader.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like to get to that level, you got to be doing some weird, super complicated statistics, because it's no longer a game of like competition. It's more of like, I don't know. It seems like most people.
The interesting thing for him and how he trades is, you know, we have our momentum scanners and all of that, and they put the stocks in front of us that might be good, but we have no idea how high it's going to go. He gets to see instantly when something goes parabolic. He knows what the potential downside is, whereas on the long side, we don't really know what the potential upside is.
Yeah, the way I calculate it is typically I'll just look for those price levels, but you don't know how many it's just gonna rip through, right? But yeah, there's a few ways to kind of estimate. Okay, nice low float, has a catalyst, it's above the 180 SMA, the daily actually looks somewhat digestible.
Right.
All those things help, but yeah, it's a little bit different because you're not sorry.
Yeah, it seems like to get there, it's almost like, because most of the stuff that we're all doing is still like partially discretionary. Like even me, I try to be more systematic, but I still have to use discretion all the time. Like I'm less likely to go long.
I got that, Tommy.
Below VWAP.
I heard you.
Yeah.
Who just groaned? Was that Tom?
Yeah, CMND.
Yeah, I'm long from 604.
Nice. I gotta wait for a pullback here.
Sorry, Colby. Looks like there's a
CMD. It's all good.
But yeah, I feel you, man. Below VWAP, I'm the same way. I've been taking too many big losses below VWAP. Look at me.
I wonder if you could calculate dollar volume on these tickers to see whenever it's less likely to go long, to be strong or something like that. Just use Dux's stuff, but inverse.
Right. That's why I've been watching it. It's super interesting and well-informed and scientific and data-driven. And so stuff like that, I feel like I can actually get something out of.
Yeah.
Whereas the stuff like, there's a lot of traders out there who are good traders, but they trade mostly off of like trends and price action and stuff like that. That's not able to be transferred over to something else, as well as did it trade its market cap? What's the percentages? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I was trying to apply some of that to our style of trading, and it's fundamentally a little bit different. I mean, we do look for a lot of similar things, right? The volume, you know, how many times volume is being traded, things like that. I mean, that's a really nice candle. Oftentimes, if we're trading a ticker and I see like really low volume, even though it's moving, I typically leave it alone because I'm going to expect a lot of false breakouts. So a ticker like, you know, this is actually a pretty nice size volume today. I'm not sure why this had so much volume, but I guess offerings and dilution.
It'd be hard to do it from a dollar volume perspective because all the tickers you're trading start with basically $0 volume, whereas all the tickers that he's not even looking at a ticker until it's like doing one rotation of market cap in terms of dollar volume. So it's kind of like nothing's even scanning until he's there, whereas you guys, you got to have it on the scanner when it's up 5% already. You got to be ready.
You got to
jump on it. It'd almost be easier if you calculated the average dollar volume that was put into every ticker on, like throughout the year, and let's say it's whatever 25 million, and then you could say, well, once this hits 25 million, it's probably likely to die out or fizzle out. So I need to get in before we get to that level. I don't know. That'd be much different than shorting, that's for sure.
Yeah. I really like how he, like we were just talking about earlier, if it has lower than or higher than 300 million market cap, right? That's what it is. He just won't touch it. I really like that kind of thought process, because that's what I need to do a little bit more, is just, I know the stocks that I trade really well, and it can be pretty easy to get caught up in a bad move that you just know you shouldn't be touching. So it's way easier to make bad decisions over and over once you break the ice just once with one bad trade.
I totally agree with
So
that.
true.
Yeah. I even
One
felt
bad
my
mistake can just be so awful.
yeah,
Yeah.
I even felt myself today. I was like I wanted to keep my TOS open, and I was like, this is exactly how I make
Like,
mistakes.
what?
Yeah, this is exactly where I start
Yeah.
trading stupid stuff. So I closed it, and I was like, okay, that's good. But like, you do it one day, then the next day you do it, and then on day number 3 you have a big loss because you kind of broke that rule of, don't stare at a crappy market, because you will trade something at one point.
Yeah.
So yeah, things like
Better
that.
just to get out.
Yeah, discipline
That
is
was
so
me
important.
yesterday with SSNT. I'm down 4,000 on SSNT yesterday, and I'm like, coming into the market open, I had even typed into chat, I was like, I don't think this looks good. It's done pretty much a full round trip from its highs. Going into open, I was already kind of bearish on it, and then, next thing you know, it's just one of those tickers that you're really big red on.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me, where I write in the Discord, or I'm like, this market's
Yeah.
crap, better to log off. 15 minutes later, max loss.
Like, guys, I made a mistake.
Well, I
Yeah,
proved my point.
It's so much easier to, exactly, yeah. It's so much easier just to not get involved in the first place.
Yeah.
James Clear talks about that in Atomic Habits, where basically it's way easier to control your environment than your behavior in the wrong environment. Like, if you don't want to eat the Oreos, then just don't buy them. Don't have them in your house.
Yeah. That is such a good point. And yeah, Tom, you were saying, like, Alex, like, can't you just leave TOS open and not trade? And I was like, yeah, sometimes I can, but there's so many times where I do something really stupid, and it's like, overall, I believe I have pretty good discipline. But man, like, when I see a ticker pop and I'm like, okay, this is the one, I jump in it, but then I'm like, after I trade it and I'm down 500, I'm like, wait a second, no volume, it was a 20% popper, no news. I was like, what was I doing? That was like a total bored trade. And yeah, sometimes you just get impulsive when nothing happens for an hour and a half, and you have the charts on the screen, and then you're just thinking, or you're not thinking, and then you're like, oh, I got to jump in on this one. It's like, no, you don't. So yeah,
Right.
that is such a good point.
I've been talking to this one guy that has made a couple million trading, and he's been trading for like 15 years, and he is all about like mindset and just trying to master psychology, because he actually thinks that psychology is pretty much everything in trading, once you have a strategy and once you know what you're doing, at least. And this was really interesting. The other day he sent a message to everybody, and he was like, hey, I'm not trading today. The only reason I'm not trading is because I was really excited to make money today. And he's like, I'm not going to trade because I was excited to make money, and I'm going to trade in the sim, but I'm not going to do anything. And I was like, wow, that's a fucking weird, I've never thought of that. Because every single day I go into the market, I'm super excited to try to make money. Every fucking day. And then that's the reason why I take trades that I shouldn't take. Because I just want to fucking make money. And it's like, such a simple idea, but...
I'm pretty mindful about that too. I think that if you come into the market super ready and hot and excited to trade, that's pretty dangerous. It's just as dangerous as being in a bad mindset, I think. Every day, you just have to come in at zero. No expectations.
Yeah, I think it's safe to assume as well that if you're going into the market not being zero, let's say you're like really excited or really not feeling good, there's a pretty damn good chance that's not going to be your best day ever. I guarantee you actually that it won't be your best day ever, and there's actually a much higher chance that probably going to be a bad day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Sick, hungover.
Not to say you shouldn't be in a good mood,
yeah, you
because
should be
being in a
happy.
good mood is helpful, but
Just the right amount of good mood, you know, like even if you drink too
Yeah.
much coffee, it's probably too much of a good mood. You're gonna be too optimistic. Unless it's like a really hot market, then coffee might actually be beneficial.
Yeah, if you can just make mistakes left and right and still
Yeah.
make money, then
Exactly. Because you'll be making more mistakes, you'll be more
I'm
aggressive.
watching
Probably.
CMND here.
Yeah, I see it on my 5-minute chart. It is tempting, huh?
Oh, don't do that to me. I'm long at 26.
There it is in the bottom right corner.
Give me a bounce. Come on. Ah. Gave back 300 off the top. Not too bad. It's been a slow day. Slow, tough day.
Yeah. I'm wondering if the jolts kind of messed up the flow today, because usually Tuesdays aren't this depressing. Not sure.
market's just rotating, man.
Mm-hmm.
Are any of
If
you
you're a
guys?
futures trader, just buy the pre-market low breaks and short the pre-market high breaks. Just do that forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, it's some classic range trading. I love that. Are any of you guys using BookMap? Stone Whistle is wondering.
I never have.
I used it for a little when it was on TOS. I thought they took it off TOS, but then Toby came and showed that it was still on TOS. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've tried it. It's tricky and a little odd because, like Toby said, if you're using it, you're still not actually getting all of the data. So I was even listening to a guy talk about tape the other day, and he was like, people say they read the tape. Do you fucking realize, at least for futures, how many transactions are going through the tape in every millisecond? It's 1,000 per second. Quotes. So changes in the quote of price of futures is happening 1,000 times per second. And he was like, if you think you're seeing that with your fucking eyes, you're an idiot, because that's impossible. So you need a software or something that can like paint that on the chart, and that's the inception of BookMap. So
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting idea, but the way you use it matters probably a lot, and it's
Make it much more visual.
yeah.
I think there's
It's nice.
sometimes.
I think
Or you
Go ahead.
go no, go for it.
I was just gonna say, pretty much, if you have anything in any trading scenario whatsoever that's going to make you trade less, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Always. Like if there's something that can show you, oh, there's no liquidity on this ticker until $1 gets dropped out of the price, that's going to be probably a good thing, because if you don't see that, you're going to try to dip by it, and then you're going to get shit on, and then, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Anything that helps keep you out of bad trades is worth a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Toby talked about BookMap on the last pod, and he's trying it out. I'm kind of under the philosophy of like everything I see in the markets and on order flow is like probably just trying to mess with my mind, and it's being rigged in some way. So I don't use things like BookMap. I'm sure it can be helpful if you really master it, but it's like any indicator, you have to stick with it for like a few years and really understand it better than anyone else before I think you make money off of it. Otherwise, everyone would just use it overnight and it'd be super easy. So yeah, for me, the less indicators, typically the better. I typically don't even over focus on the level 2 unless like there's a few things in a consistent market that you'll see, you know, like I don't know, the bid getting chipped at, it breaks through, but then with low volume, then instantly the orders come back, or the ask comes back, and it's just like, okay, that was really sketchy, light. I'm not going to trust that breakout. I mean, there's like some small patterns you'll see again and again, but I do like the classic chart patterns and just kind of understanding the general trend and the theme and the mindset of the market. I feel like that to me is the most powerful, as opposed to like really specific things, because there's so much spoofing and other weird things going on there.
Yeah, I think chart pattern and volume are the two most important things. Those are
real.
fake either of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Price and volume, everything is just a derivative of price and volume at the end of the day, right?
Yep.
where do people want to buy? Where do people want to sell?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny to think about. Every single indicator that was ever created is
Yeah.
a different version to look at either volume, price, or time.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you could just read, the price and the volume, I think it goes a long way. That's why those really simple books like chart candle books, I would reread them. I've read the one of them, the Shark Candle Bible or something, like 6 times. And it's not like you have to study every single page, but just constantly refreshing. It's like, yeah, okay, shooting star, the classic, 80% of the time, that means, it's a reversal. So just kind of understanding. So you have like a sixth sense intuition when you see a chart, you're like, man, it's a little bit bearish right now. When somebody else would maybe just look at it and be like, oh, it's above VWAP, it's going up. It's like, yeah. It comes with time too. Like, people don't even have to know what these names are. And I think if you didn't even study it, you'd probably eventually get the feeling for it, but you might as well save yourself a few years by
True.
learning it. Any thoughts going forward? I just realized the time. Any plan? I mean, we did kind of talk a little bit about it, but anyone want to give their quick kind of game plan going forward?
CMND here.
Oh yeah, it's back. Everyone's game plan, CMND.
Break the 40, maybe.
I don't really have a game plan, but I do have a little thing of advice. If you are not profitable at trading and you go to the market wanting money, stop trading, get a job, make money outside of the market. It's never going to work until you make money outside of the market. That's just a fact of nature. I've fought that for so many years now, but I finally am like ready to just be like, fuck it. I need to make money outside of the market or I'm going to just never be profitable anyway. So I know there's fucking people that are going to hear that shit and they're going to be like, oh, not me. No, it's you.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah,
do it.
it's everybody. You're not better than
Yeah.
It really is everybody.
realistically,
The amount of times I've heard people say that, and I just was like, no, I'm fine, I'll do it. Dude, hundreds of times.
It'll make you trade better when you don't need the money. If you need the money, your trading is going to be abysmal.
Severely diminished,
Yeah, direct correlation with how much you need the money.
pretty much
Seriously.
negative correlation, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
My plan is just try to trade like I did today. Today I did much better than yesterday. I took mostly smart trades and I didn't let anything ruin my day like I did yesterday. So I know that I can make a lot really quickly on the right moves, and all I have to do realistically is just wait for those moves. And that's pretty much it.
I totally agree.
With me, just kind of the same thing, kind of waiting for the setup to come to me, not kind of trying to force the dip, trying to force the breakout. Sometimes the dip wants to dip a little more, and then you're going to be selling when you should be buying the dip, because that's happened to me today on CMND. Trying to buy the dip just a couple seconds too early, and then it dumps another 10 cents. And that's where I should be buying, but instead I'm selling, and then that completely screws up my psychology. And now it bounces, and now I'm trying to chase it again after it's already done its bounce, and then take another 10-cent loss. That's really what happened with me today on CMND. I'm actually going to be ending red today, but small red day that can make back is always irresponsible. A successful red day is key.
I like that. A successful red day.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a small red day.
No, absolutely
Yeah,
not.
something wrong.
He asked, do you trade between Christmas and New Year's, or is it too slow? For the first time ever, I took off during Thanksgiving, and it was fucking amazing. I looked back on the week, and I was like, I would have lost that day, I would have lost that day, I would have lost that day, I would have lost that day. And I was like, well, thank God I did not trade. So if you're ever thinking, should I go have fun or trade? Guess what? Every other market participant is also asking that question, and the people that go have fun are making more money than the people that try to trade it. And that's just a fact of nature. So go have fun at Christmas and do not try to touch anything, because there will be no volume, No one's trying to do it. You're going to be fighting like 3 people, and the other 3 people are probably better than you or have more money than you, so they'll win. So just don't.
Speaking facts. The market is so inconsistent too around the holidays. I also took Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off around Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was Thursday, I believe. And I remember one year, I think it was like in 2019, maybe it was 2020, I did not take the days leading up to Christmas off, and I just had one red day after another, and it was so frustrating because every day was so inconsistent. Like the price action was so different than the weeks leading up to it. And I think it's because a lot of participants are just MIA because they're enjoying their life, like Colby was saying. So yeah, I totally agree. And what I do now, and also it kills your Christmas because you're like the day before you might be at a Christmas party and you're like, oh, I need to get home because tomorrow I want to trade or some BS. When it's like, dude, live the week up, man. Like you became a trader to do whatever you want in your life. So I always tell myself that if I'm ever in a crossroads of decisions, it's like, wait, why did I do this to begin with? And there's tons of weeks where there's nothing to do, and that's when you want to trade. That's when everyone else is as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, for my game plans going forward, I'm doing what Danny and Tommy are doing for sure. Basically trade less, without a question. Wait for the setups to come to me, and like always, don't try not to rush it and close TOS. Just close it.
Just leave.
Just
throw your computer out the window. Buy a new one the next day because you'll probably be making more money.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Colby, did you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, I just said get a job.
Yeah.
You fucking broke bitches.
All right, there you have it, guys. Any more questions?
The thing with trading is like when you're a beginner, it's like, oh, when I'm a successful trader, everything's gonna be great, and then like 3 years, 4 years, 10 years down the line, you're like, wait, am I even a successful trader yet? Like, I don't think that moment's ever going to come where you just feel like, oh, I'm a successful trader. I think it's always just going to be like, God damn, what the hell am I doing?
There's success in terms of like, I'm making enough on trading to pay my bills.
Yeah.
But every good trader that I know is almost always unhappy with how they're doing. Maybe not unhappy, but always seeing where they're going wrong.
Yeah, there's always room for improvement. Every trade teaches you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you need, though. That's what you need. That's the ingredient for success in this.
Yeah. You always have to find that little 1% about where you could be doing better, because the margins can make all the difference in making money or losing money.
Yeah, little pivots, tweaks here and there.
Competition is heavy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Good luck to anyone still trading CMND. I don't think I will, but you never know. You'll see me in the Discord.
5 minutes later, I'm watching it. I'm pretty interested in it.
It doesn't look bad, huh? It almost looks like a cup and
pretty-
handle or something.
It's pretty heavy up here. It's having a lot of trouble, but if it can get through this area, 660 or so, then it's doing something that it hasn't done all day, and over 650 should have room to 8 if it could hold it. So we'll see.
Yeah, it might rip quick. All right, guys. Good luck then. Nice chatting with everyone again.
All right.
Catch you guys
see
later.
guys.
Ciao, ciao.
Later, boys.